Hey friend, we're talking about salt, right? Let's get to it. Hey friend, it's another Monday, and I am so happy to be here with you to simply talk about what Jesus talked about. Last week, we talked about the importance of being the salt of the earth, being the potash, the fertilizer, the fruit producers of the earth. This week, I want to continue our conversation on salt by talking about the salt of the Dunghills. We'll get to that. But first, let's go to the Bible. Listen, there's a scripture in Luke 14 where Jesus begins to give a dissertation about what it takes to be a follower of Christ. He simply says that we have to love God more than we love our family, our mama, our daddy, our husband, our wives, and our children. We have to love Him more than we love our lives, ourselves. We have to put away all of our wicked ways. We have to learn to bear our cross and simply follow Him. After he gives this dissertation, he continues to tell the people about how you build a building and the people are able to look at the building's not finished, and then we're not going to talk about that part. What we're going to talk about is he says that if the salt loses its saltiness, this is verse 35, if the salt loses its saltiness, it is no good for the earth or the dunghills. Y'all, at first when I read this, I was like, nah, Lord, come on now. What do you mean we're not good for the dunghill? So, of course, I had to go do my research and see what a dunghill was and the importance of salt in said situation. So, let's talk about it. Friend, let's think about it like this. In modern terms, what a dunghill would be is either animal manure, human manure, trash, or a mixture of all those things. Let's think about it. A dunghill, a manure hill, sitting. We can smell that manure hill. It's gross. We can think about all the sicknesses, salmonella and the like that comes from said manure hill. We can think about how the ground is made toxic because of the manure hill. And lastly, we can think about all the bad things that begin to grow because of said manure hill. In that time, what would happen is the manure hill would be present, but not only was the manure hill present, there was also a presence of salt. What would happen would be they would take heaps of salt and place it on or mix it into the manure. The salt acted as a neutralizing agent. It stopped bad growth. It stopped the ground from being toxic. It stopped bacterial infections. And it also stopped the ground from being made toxic. Could it be, friend, that when manure is present, you're to be the neutralizing agent in the earth? So, my question to you, friend, is when the world seems to be a world of donkey, are you one that loses your saltiness? Or are you one that's able to neutralize toxic situations? It's my prayer this week that as you follow the Lord, that as you begin to go after his precepts, that as he begins to make you into a disciple, that you begin to get your saltiness back, that you begin to love the things that he loves, that your heart is made pure, your actions are made pure, the works of your hands are made pure, and not only are you able to produce the fruit of the Spirit, but you're also able to be a neutralizing agent in the world. Not just church, but also in the world. Friends, stand up, get your saltiness back. This is the time, this is the season for us to be bold about our faith. This is the time for us to not lose our purity, to keep our love, to keep our kindness, to keep the peace, the long suffering, and the like. You may not like the job, but it's essential that you be there to neutralize toxic situations. You may not understand why you were born into the family that you were born into, but maybe it was you, the one that came into the earth to neutralize a toxic situation. You may not even like your situation, but every time you walk into a room, you're able to neutralize a bad situation. Maybe the ground was once toxic, But because you came in as the salt, now we have made a thing good ground. Friend, will you be salt or will you be the one that has mixture and loses your saltiness? That's my question for you today. Friend, I want you to go out there and be as salty as you can be, not in the bad way that the world tries to make us be, but in such a way that you're able to purify everything that you touch. Go out there, be abundantly great, and have a phenomenal week.